Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Ellsworth, and right now I'm borrowing this video from Science Sir, and I just wanted to give them credit for that. We normally do this lab in the classroom, and you have to draw this line straight down the middle of the paper, and this is where we're going to put the mirror. And okay, so first of all, you're going to draw a line. I mean, we're not going to be doing this experiment at home, but it shows the law of reflection. And so this line that he just put on here is going to be where the mirror actually sits. And now you remember what a normal is? That is perpendicular to the surface that you're talking about. So when we talked about surfaces that were normal of surfaces, it was always 90 degrees from whatever surface we were talking about. In this case, it'll be the mirror surface. So he went and labeled, here's where the mirror will be, and here is the normal. Oops, he's moving it, so that didn't go too well. Okay, and so now he's going to go and draw out a line that is 30 degrees, and we do the same exact thing for our lab too. Part of our lab groups do it with lasers, and the other part do it with pens, and we flip a coin to see who gets it. With such a large class, you can't have everybody have lasers and stay safe. So right here is going to be 30 degrees from the normal, and he'll go and he'll draw a line from there. He's going to label this line as AO. He's going to call this point A, and then O is where it, well, the origin, where it goes into the mirror. And so this is what we call the angle of incidence, and then I'll be telling you what that, helping you with the spelling of that here in just a little bit. It's the angle of incidence, and that is 30 degrees again from the normal. So he's going to go and plot 2 points on there, and I'm going to pause it because it takes a little while to do that. Let me just back that up just a smidge more here. So he went and put the 2 pins on that line. I'm sorry, I had to back up a second because I got ahead of myself. He went and plotted those 2 points on the line. So those are the objects that we're going to be looking at. Now look at the mirror here. Those are the images. They are called a virtual image because it is behind the mirror. And we will talk some more about that too. But it's behind the mirror. Now what he's going to do is he's going to line those 2 images, virtual images in the mirror. He's going to line them up. Oh, that looks like the sweet spot. Okay, so, I guess he's making a point here that that's not, that he wants, now they're lined up perfectly. Okay. Line them up again here, mister. And then what he's going to do is he's going to plot some pins on the opposite side, on this side, that will go in a straight line with those 2 virtual images in the mirror. Okay, and so he'll plot those 2 pins. He'll put 2 pins in there. And this is the reflection coming out of the mirror. So the first angle going into the mirror is called angle of incidence. Then it hits the normal, hitting the mirror, and it comes out as an angle of reflection. And these are the 2 angles that make up the laws of reflection. And they are really important, and they seem, oh, Mrs. Ellsworth, this is just too simple right now. They become much more complicated when we talked about curved, when we will talk about curved mirrors. Okay. So with this angle of reflection coming out of there, he's going to go and mark those 2 spots and create a line. So he's marking the 2 spots where the 2 pins were in line with the images. And this is going to be the angle of reflection. I see that there's a missed number here that's supposed to be a 30 degrees. 60 was over here. Anyway, so he will now measure the angle of reflection. Okay. Now at home I was thinking about having you do this, and I thought, well, how many of us have, protractors at home? So I was kind of worried about that. But then now I'm looking at this, I could have had you fold the paper and see that they would both be equal, that they both be at 30 degrees. The angle of incidence, that's the angle that comes into the mirror. The angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection, even if it's on a curved mirror. As long as it's on the same curve, that's the only thing that matters, is that the angle of incidence will go and always match the angle of reflection. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to give you the notes on that. So I will also post the notes on angle of incidence and angle of reflection, and I'll get those started and I'll post those too. So this is a lab that we would have done and to learn these things, but we unfortunately had to learn it virtually. That's it for now. Over and out. This is Mrs. Ellsworth.